Okay. When fentanyl hit, keep in mind, fentanyl, the first time we saw fentanyl in the United States was in 91 to 93. And it led to a cluster of overdose deaths in Chicago and New York on a street. It was called Tango and Cash, the movie. And immediately we were able to zero in on that and find out that it was chemists and it was a group based out of Ohio. We shut that down. The next time we saw fentanyl was in 2006 in the south side of Chicago. And that was a Sinaloa cartel. And we traced it back to a lab in Toluca, Mexico, shut that lab down, and then it went dormant for a number of years until 2013. 2013, we started seeing fentanyl precursors come into the United States, right? Primarily APNP or 4-APP, which are the precursors for meth production. You add propionyl chloride and you essentially have fentanyl. And then they would mix that with heroin, Mexican heroin, and make it the heroin so much stronger. It was called China White on the streets at the time. This was 2013, 2014. That is when we started pivoting into the Chinese role into synthetics. So we were late in the game, so to speak. We knew that the Chinese had a role in money laundering of Colombian cocaine. We knew that they had a role in precursor chemicals for meth production, but fentanyl really put the huge spotlight on the Chinese role on the drug trade.
Can we not do anything about that now that we know? Is there nothing that the U.S. government can do and say, hey, we're identifying this is connection to China. China, what are you going to do about it?
Sure. I mean, I think there's so much more we could do in China. And I think there's other geopolitical issues, obviously Taiwan, and other issues in regards to China and the State Department and where they see our relationship going. From my perspective, spending 28 years in law enforcement, it's all about saving lives, right? And my focus is American lives. And I know that for a fact that production in China is causing over 100,000 deaths each year in America. And we've already proven that the Chinese government plays a role in exportation of fentanyl into the United States. And we've already proven that when the lockdowns took place, that they have a direct correlation to being able to stop this, right? Or slow this down. I do think, Vince, that there's other areas that require work. So I don't want to just take it from a perspective of purely law enforcement or purely national security. And attacking just the supply chain. I do think that there's a messaging issue, right? Because you have young kids that are taking fentanyl one time and dying.
Yeah.
And just one pill and dying. Never took it before, first time, and they're passing away. And so that tells me that, okay, well, where's the message getting lost? What do we need to do on this end? And I always equate it to this. You can't burn a candle at one end and expect to really have impact. You got to go at it from both ends. So it has to come at it from supply. You have to go at it from demand, and hopefully you meet in the middle and you have some kind of solution. We can get past this crisis and the numbers will drop substantially.
So when you talk about demand, you're talking about us as a country.
Yes, I am talking about us. Yeah.
And so I'm curious to know, what do you think? How do we fix the demand here? Why are we such a huge demand of these drugs? Why we created almost this market for the cartel themselves and China to even be involved? And how do we slow that down, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, you're going into the sociological, psychological makeup of an American citizen. Everything we do is big homes, big cars, big everything, right? We buy, everything. We're the biggest consumers in the world. And so, unfortunately, that also carries over to other issues, right? But I do think that the solution is going after demand, which is education. It is prevention. It is treatment. It is these other areas where people need help. Listen, addiction